Kwa sababu nilikuwa nasikia Ruto akisimama hapa akasema ODM wameingia serikali. Lo, nikajishika. Deputy President wa Jubilee anasema ODM wameingia serikali na ODM haijakanusha. Sasa wale wana kibarua kigumu kwa sababu anapigana na Jubilee mara mbili, Jubilee ya Ruto na Jubilee ya ODM.
Mambo kule Kibra kimeumana. Yule mzee wa bedroom sasa ameuliza usaidizi kutoka watu wengine, sijui chama gani, sijui kundi gani. Ukiona mtu ameuliza usaidizi kwa bedroom, ujue mambo kimeumana.
Mechi ya kwanza timu ni mbili. Moja inaitwa Tanga Combine, ingine inaitwa Handshake Combine. Sawa? Ndio kwa kiwanja, sivyo?
Just a matter of hours, 24 candidates, one seat. And major implications for political parties and political leaders as Kibra residents gear up to cast their vote for the next Member of Parliament tomorrow. Voting materials for the Kibra by-election have been dispatched to the Tarling Center at Nairobi City County Inspectorate Training College. IEBC says all things are ready for Kibra residents. Now, according to IEBC, Kibra has 118,658 registered voters, and the Electoral Commission cleared 24 aspirants to vie for the post. So here's the thing. I need to take you to our lead reporter, Sophia Wanuna, and then when we come back, we'll go via the 24 candidates that have been cleared by IEBC, just so that everyone can understand who are the candidates that will be vying for that particular seat tomorrow. Sophia, if you can hear me, the stakes are high. It is not just about political parties. It is the political future of some political leaders, and all eyes are on Kibra tomorrow.
Indeed, good evening, Linda. Tomorrow, the residents of Kibra, the electorate, will be going to vote for the next Member of Parliament. But as you said, this perhaps is arguably the most closely watched by-election, not just because of the leader that will represent the people of Kibra, but what it portends going forward. It has largely been interpreted in political circles, and it's not a secret anymore, that it stands also as a race between the former Prime Minister and the Deputy President, and that whichever way it goes, the implication on how that will be interpreted in as far as their standing, going by the campaigns that we've seen in the past several weeks, will be significant. And so tomorrow is D-Day. Of course, we'll have coverage throughout the day. But this evening, I am with a man who has been with the Jubilee candidate from day one, by his side, campaigning with him. Nixon Korir is a Member of Parliament, Langata, neighboring Kibra. Thank you for making time for us. Perhaps let's begin with how satisfied or otherwise are you with IEBC in as far as the preparations for this by-election? Because we saw ODM on their part had questions around the voters register, and now we just saw that ruling that the register they'd been given was incomplete. They needed to be given one with the ID numbers. They have had questions and concerns around rigging and paying of voters. We've not had Jubilee have any concerns out loud. Do you know something everyone else doesn't know? You're just happy.
You know, Sophie, this is the register that IEBC has been giving in the previous years, in 2013 and 2017. IEBC has been given a register without the complete ID numbers because they considered it private. And as Jubilee, we don't have any problem, but we are happy with the ruling also, so that our opponents don't feel that they're being shortchanged or something. Now they have the chance to look at the register tonight before the election tomorrow. So we don't have any problem with IEBC. IEBC has been consulting the agents and the candidates. They've been having previous meetings in terms of preparation and taking them through, or taking us rather through as Jubilee, as ODM and all the other political parties, because we have 23 candidates vying in Kibra, and I think whatever ODM was raising was genuine, and if they wanted to see the ID numbers, I don't know what they want to do with it, then it's okay. They have the ruling now, so I hope tomorrow they'll be okay now. Yeah,
although actually they will not be able to access the register tomorrow because IEBC contested that ruling, saying it would need 7 days for them to actually now compile what accordance to what the court ruled. But talk to me also about the polling stations, the moving of those, because there's also concern we had from the electoral observation group saying that the voter education, in as far as now you go vote here and not this other place, wasn't sufficient. Have you also done that as politicians, going around speaking to people, but more so, are you satisfied with the IEBC doing the same?
Sophie, maybe just for you to know, before IEBC decided on the stations that were being moved because of the examinations, and some of the stations were moved even prior to this because of the road that was being constructed around and across Kibra. Yeah. Before IEBC made that decision, they had a meeting with all the aspirants, and they actually discussed with all the aspirants, and even possibilities of which station to be moved to which place. It was a consultative process that IEBC engaged with the aspirants. So no aspirant can claim that they were not involved, because IEBC called a meeting purposely to discuss the moving of the station, and we all agreed. Yeah. All the agents for the political parties and the candidates were present, and we agreed on the polling station. Yeah. And we have been communicating that to our supporters all through. IEBC has done that. They have put banners all over Kibra communicating where the stations are being moved. It is important to note also that some of the stations are being moved from where the school is, where they are doing the exam, to outside. When you go to KMTC, for example, the station is still in KMTC, but not in the classes, but outside the classes. When you go to Bagadi Primary School, it is from Bagadi Primary School to outside the market, which is just next to it. So it is not moving a station from one corner of Kibra to another one. It's just next to where they were, maybe because of the examination or maybe because of the roads that were constructed that they were moved. Yeah.
Talk to me about tomorrow. A big day there, a lot of work that has been put in by you and the political party. What concerns, if at all, do you have? And perhaps let's begin with security, because many have already pointed that out. There have been several incidents, including today, one of the MCAs campaigning for your candidate, their house vandalized. So do you have concerns about tomorrow?
First, let me say we are very confident that we are going to win tomorrow, that McDonald Mariga will emerge victorious tomorrow. And because of that, I think our opponents have realized that we are going to win. And they are employing a strategy where they want to scare voters from turning out to vote. We have concerns about security, but the good thing is that we've been assured by the in charge, the OCPD Kilimani, the DCIO, and the police, the apparatus, and the security, that the security will be okay. So whatever happened today to our MCA Woodley, where some hooligans who were hired went there and vandalized and took all the belongings for the MCA. They also went to another supporter of ours in Sarangombe, did the same. The police is investigating the matter, but we want to tell our supporters that they shouldn't be scared. This is just a tactic that they want to do, to employ so that our supporters don't turn out. So we are confident that the security will be okay tomorrow, and every Kibra resident will turn out and exercise their democratic right without any intimidation. Yes.
And during the campaigns, you were accused as Jubilee that you were staging violence meted against you just to seek sympathy votes, and that there were plans to rig this election. How do you specifically address those concerns that there's a plan to rig the election?
Rig election by who? As it is right now, we were invited by IEBC as all the chief agents for all the candidates to go to the NCC hall in Kibra, where they were distributing the ballot papers and the ballot materials. We witnessed the opening of the pallets, which they were carrying the ballot materials, and they were sent to various polling stations. I think some of them, every polling station has received their materials right now under the guidance of police and the escort of police. So those things of rigging have been said before. The same ODM has been cried foul in 2007. They cried foul in 2013. They cried foul in 2017. So it's just normal. We no longer even pay attention to it. So they are saying it is their bedroom. So we are wondering why are they scared if it's their bedroom? They should just wait for the results tomorrow evening. Yes. Yeah.
Your candidate, McDonald Mariga, it's an interesting scenario where he will not be casting a vote for himself. Usually on such days you will see, and it's covered widely, pictures of the candidate voting, of course, we imagine, for themselves, but that he will not be voting because he's not a registered voter there. What will he be up to? Where will he be?
I've not talked to Mariga. I don't know what he's planning tomorrow. Maybe he'll be in church praying or something. I don't know. Yes. Yeah.
You don't know. Do you have a center you're monitoring as Jubilee?
Yes, of course we have a center, but that one will be in the evening. So our agents have been dispatched right now to the various polling stations with the appointment letters. We will be receiving the results from them, from our agents, also the copies of the results, because it's a requirement by law that every agent should be given a copy of the results. So as a chief agent, I've instructed all my agents to ensure that after immediately the results are announced, they get a copy of the results from every polling station and relay it to our tallying center for the Jubilee, where our candidate will be there in the evening, yes.
So you're the chief agent. Do we have other politicians from Jubilee also as agents in this by-election? And also, looking at the numbers, how many do you have as agents?
We have 183 polling stations in Kibra, so we have 183 polling agents, but we have extra agents whom we call relievers, just in case an agent has a problem and want to excuse him or herself. So we have standby agents. Members of parliament will also be around. Some of them will be in the stations. Some of them will be standby, just in case they need to appear or be agents in any of the stations that are available. So we have around 70 members of parliament will be available tomorrow to monitor the election, yes. Yeah.
We have had a lot from these campaigns, and one of those things has been that it's almost unfathomable that ODM would lose the seat that they have had for so many years. If you win, or if you lose, however way it goes, you're ready. If you lose, let's start there. If you lose, you're ready to concede defeat.
We are democratic, and democracy indicates that if you win, you take it. If you lose, you must accept it. Yes.
And on the other side, do you see them accepting if they lose?
I hope so, because they have never accepted any results in the past. I hope this time they will change.
Let's talk a little bit about the bigger picture, that this is a race for the Kibra constituency, that by-election there, but the undertones and all of the talk about what this means and that it's Ruto versus Raila. We've seen the deputy president there, albeit heavily guarded when he went to campaign. And in fact, one of the things people were saying is that's quite interesting. Does it speak of fear of being there and not sure that he will be welcomed? But perhaps speak to me about what you read into that narrative of the import of this by-election in the larger political landscape.
You know, there are so many theories around it, but the Deputy President of Kenya, William Ruto, is a Deputy Party Leader of Jubilee Party. Raila Odinga is a Party Leader of ODM Party. I think in their own rights, they have every right to campaign for their candidate. And whatever you read out of it, I mean, it's so many opinions come out, but what we know, this competition tomorrow is between the candidates who are vying to be the members of parliament for Kibra. It's between Mariga and the rest of the candidates. So about William Ruto, Raila Odinga, Musalia Mudavadi, that's a story for another day, yes.
But this would be a prelude for 2022 is how it's been taunted.
You know, so many people want to see it in different ways. But what I'm telling you, Sophie, is that tomorrow it is about Mariga and the rest. Yes. After tomorrow, then we can discuss that. Yes.
Were you disappointed that the president did not go to the ground to campaign for Mariga in this one? Because again, there have been all kinds of insinuations about what just happened. Of course, we saw him give him the hat and the T-shirt and the pictures in State House, but not really speak to it. But why are you disappointed that he did not go to campaign for him?
We are very happy with the president. I was there when we went with the McDonald Mariga, and he told us that we had his full blessing. He gave us his support, and he wished us. He told us that if we needed anything as a party leader, we should be in touch with him. We've been in touch with him even today. We were in touch with him. He wanted to know what is the process, how's the preparation going, is everything okay? And the president, who's the party leader, is in support of Mariga. Yes.
Thank you very much for making time for us this evening. Linda, as you've heard there, it's all systems go for this by-election tomorrow. That will be, of course, covered right here on KTN News Wall to Wall. But a confident Jubilee going into that by-election, Linda.
Yeah, they're very confident. I love the fact that he's downplaying that aspect of a two-horse race. And I know there have been complaints that perhaps the media is making this look like a two-horse race. But looking at the campaigns and the sentiments of different leaders, even during the campaign period, one would actually be forgiven to think that this is a two-horse race. Actually, it is not. We have 24 candidates who've been cleared by IEBC. But let me now bring in Jared Okello, Member of Parliament for Nyando. Mashibiwa, thank you for joining us and for speaking to us on the big story here on KTN News. So first of all, from where you sit, is it a two-horse race? Is it a three-horse race? Is it a four-horse race?
Well, thank you, Linda, for giving me an opportunity to come and delve into this subject. 24 candidates have since been cleared by IEBC to contest tomorrow in this impending by-election. In the political game, we talk of worthy opponents. And for that reason, we are not going to undermine or belittle any candidate out of the 24. But I have seen lots of analysis from both print and electronic media that this is now settling in for a two-horse race, and that is between our candidate in ODM, Imran Okoth, and that of Jubilee, whose name I've forgotten.
Whose name you've conveniently forgotten, but here's the thing. There's a court ruling today. I know ODM was asking for the voters register. IEBC says we're unable to give you the voters register because we need at least 10 days. How is ODM taking this? And the chances are very high from what we see that tomorrow's vote will go on without the voter register being availed to ODM.
Court decisions must be respected. But first things first, Linda. You know, there was a quest and an agitation by Kenyans to midwife a new constitutional dispensation. We came from a history, and we wanted to correct some of these ills by way of creating a constitution that was going to work for us. And if you look at this constitution that we highly talk about, it takes a lot of precedent on matters of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are so key to any democratic society, without which a country is likely to go in turmoil. What is being captured very well in Article 35 of our Constitution is the right of every Kenyan to access information held by the state or by any agency controlled by the state. IEBC is an electoral umpire which is not excluded in this Article 35 of our Constitution. A register is a public document which actually, before any election is carried out, must be published and gazetted by the government printer. It is curious that we have made several attempts as ODM. Firstly, we had to write 3 separate letters from ODM headquarters to IEBC to avail the register for Kibra in light of this impending by-election. 3 times we were denied this opportunity. So we then went to IEBC to convene a meeting with the commissioners and the secretariat to get more information as to why they were dodging such an important subject, a meeting that I also attended. They then promised us that in due course, in fact, to quote what the chairman did say, that in about 3 days, they were going to avail the register to us. It took 10 days, and then they came up with a tabulation of various wards, together with the number of people registered in those wards. That cannot amount to a register. So we then said, let us go to a court of law, because ODM, as a party that respects the tenets of our constitution and constitutionalism, challenged this matter before a court of law. And the judge did order today that that register must be produced within the shortest possible space of time. What then happened after is, IEBC applied for a conservatory order or a stay order, creating excuses that, it will take De La Rue forever to have this register printed. And firstly, you ask yourself, Are we going into an election tomorrow without a register from IEBC? And then as an electoral merchandise, why would they then engage in such an important exercise without knowing the people who are going to get involved? And we want to be very thankful to the judge who used his wisdom and the enabling acts of our laws and quashed that conservatory order's request. So what we know is that we still have time between now and in the morning to have that register availed to us. Court orders, and I want to quote the former Chief Justice, Honorable Mutunga, that court orders must be respected however idiotic they may seem. So Linda, we are confident that before midnight, perhaps, we shall get the register as requested and as ordered by a court of law.
You get to tomorrow, Mheshimiwa, and that register is not there?
Well, I wouldn't wish to engage in pessimism at this time because I respect court orders and they have formed the basis of our Constitution. I respect the Constitution and all these acts that have been enacted by Parliament. So when a court of law speaks, we have to respect that. I mean, a court of law just quashed the presidential election a while back. The President of the Republic of Kenya had to step back and accept for a rerun. So if Uhuru Kenyatta can abide by the declaration of a court of law, who is Chebukati and company?
I think what I'm trying to get through to by asking this is, will the absence of this court register change anything, if at all? I know it's a court order. I know it has to be respected, but I'm also taking into consideration the explanation that IEBC gave. They said, guys, we need 10 days at least to be able to get this register. Will it change anything tomorrow?
Firstly, you ask yourself, if we are going into an election tomorrow and IEBC must ably identify the voters using a register, that is the very register that we are looking for. They cannot turn around and say,
maybe that is the very register that perhaps they've taken to Kibra. So they're saying, for us to avail another copy, we will need time.
Well, I want to believe that each and every polling station will have a register reflective of the voters in that particular polling station. And that is exactly what ODM is asking for. And you know, Linda, the basis upon which we are making this kind of request, firstly, is to have an eventful, free election, an election that can pass the test of times, that is credible, that is free, and that is fair. We have had in recent times that certain names have been imported into Kibra and forcefully put into the register. We have additionally heard that certain names have been deliberately deleted by IEBC from the register, and there is no any better way to justify all these claims but to look at the register itself. And that is why we are challenging IEBC. This is not rocket science. This is the same register that they have always had since 2017 and before. Their explanation, which made a lot of sense to me, is that since the year 2017 to date, 314 new names have been brought into the register.
And they needed to update it. Mheshimiwa, I need to take my first break here on the big story. Yes, they said there are new additional registered voters that they needed to include it in this one. So allow me to take our first break here on the big story. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, and when we will be back, we'll be speaking to Barack Muluka, who's the